Thank you, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I feel as though I'm speaking to a room full of my friends. So, I'm here to speak to you today about why inclusion is so very important. To do so, I want to start from my background. Again, like she said, my family was the first to integrate a small Catholic school. So that presented some challenges. At a very early age, around 5, I was posed, certain questions were posed to me, such as, why is your skin that color? Is it because you drink too much chocolate milk? So kind of found myself being an advocate for my race and my culture very early on. That also gave me an experience with 2 different religions. Going to Catholic school and having the familial religion of Baptist, we attended Mass every Wednesday. At Mass, I wasn't allowed to receive communion. I had to kind of step aside every week. Even though I loved the Catholic religion, and I loved the Baptist religion, those 2 can be somewhat conflicting. So I had to resolve that within myself, and that made me open-minded to all religions. So that was very important. People would think that I kind of harp on that or I feel sorry for myself, but honestly, sometimes I feel sorry for others who didn't have that background. As I grew, it strengthened me. I am now a 41-year-old mother of 2 boys. My son is a gospel musician. So, if you'll allow me to, I would like to take you back to church, as we call it. Yeah! So, what I want you to do is look to your left and say to your neighbor, neighbor, you are included. Now look to your right and say, neighbor, you are included. So we now have to talk about what inclusion means. To paint this picture, I would like to give you a scenario. You are invited to a dinner party. The subject matter of the dinner party is Bitcoin. So you arrive at a grand house. The host greets you at the door. She says, hello, welcome. Mi casa es su casa, or my home is your home. She welcomes you in. You walk around. You see a multitude of people. A conversation strikes up in the kitchen about Bitcoin. You try to interject your ideas and your feelings, but every time you get cut off, shut down. You laugh on cue, you play your part, but that core group decides they don't want your input. So they continue on with that conversation, and it's nearing dinner time. So they collectively decide, well, let's go get our seats at the dining table. They all do. Unfortunately, this dining table doesn't seat 50 people. It only seats about 16. They all have their seat. They continue on with their conversation. You end up sitting in the living room with a TV table. In that scenario, diversity is just the welcoming into the door. Inclusion is the actual seat at the table and having a voice. Equity is the portion size on the plate that is being delivered. So what I want you to take from that is doing all of this work as an empath, as a lifetime learner, and as a human. I sometimes find myself saddened by the work that I do. I cry a lot, but generally what I cry about is not what I know, it's what other people don't know. See, when you told your neighbor that they were included, the people that you looked at hold a wealth of information, untapped information, but you'll never find out that information if you wall things off based on exterior assumptions. So I would like to invite you all to challenge your own ignorance by welcoming inclusion into your life. The way that we can add inclusion into dental practices is there's several ways, but one, can we get to know our fellow staff? We can learn how to pronounce their names or the meanings of their names instead of just shortening them for our own comfort. We can learn more about their background, their culture, their foods, invite them to bring in something that's culturally relevant to them. We can also allow them to kind of navigate the holidays that are culturally important to them versus the standardized holidays for the country. See, they have a different religious background. They may have different things that are relevant to them. And in doing so, you can stagger your staff and perhaps keep your office open on days that would generally be shut down. That would keep revenue flowing throughout the office instead of just closing it and taking it as a loss. So that's one way. See, when companies are more inclusive, they are 1.7 times more innovative. They are also 1.4 times more likely to reach their financial goals. So this is a profitable thing, but it's also a welcoming thing. It makes sense on all levels. We oftentimes find ourselves, while being invited in, being told to leave our culture at home. That doesn't increase productivity. So it decreases productivity and increases employee turnover. We don't want to do that. When you can welcome somebody in as a whole person, that's when you get the best out of them. So another way is evaluate your office and the decor around your office. Sometimes there are stock photos that aren't very inclusive. They may have just stereotypical, generalized faces and smiles. I've often talked to children who didn't even recognize the melanin in their gum tissue as being something that's normal. I've had children say that they scrubbed their gums and they couldn't get the brown off. These are conversations that we aren't having, and they don't have examples of what a healthy mouth should look like that resembles theirs. So if you change your decor and you put up multicultural pictures in your waiting room and in your operatories, that would make a more diverse population feel more welcome and more comfortable. You can also have things like bring your family to work day, or when you provide services for your staff, bring their whole family. That would encourage conversations to happen while they're waiting for their treatment between mothers sharing stories of childhood quirks and things about their staff that you would never know. So that would be a beautiful thing to incorporate into your practice. All of these things are challenging, but they really shouldn't be. You know, we are humans treating humans, and we can't just welcome someone's skill set without welcoming the entire person. The best way to get to know someone is to actually ask and actually be intrigued and interested in the responses that are given. It's not too much to ask, and I believe that we're all very capable of that. We get to know our patients on a better level than most people do. So I know we're capable. I would like to also challenge you all to take the time to get to know yourself and what you can bring to your office, not just on a production level, but deeper. We all have different ideas that came from different backgrounds. And sometimes you'll look at your team and you may not think they're very diverse, but if you actually get to know them, they may be diverse in different ways. Diversity isn't just cultural or race, religion. It's deeper. And you won't get to the deeper level of the staff that you have until you actually open yourself up to learning. So, again, I challenge you to combat your own ignorance and invite inclusion into your practice and into your life. Thank you.